I'd like to thank my fan. Yeah, exactly what this is. Mark couldn't make it this year, so he asked me if I'd be glad to demonstrate it. You had a chance to see the prototype last year and the kind of rough software. He and I and Tim and stuff finished the software this year or so, and then put the card into shape. I have some back in the back. Actually, I have one finished card, which is $90. The finished card includes the SID chip. The SID chip is the sound interface device chip, which comes out of a Commodore 64 or a 128. It's completely built, functional, has a guarantee, 90-day guarantee and so forth with it. This is $90. I've got one left if you're interested. It also comes with the software and it comes with full documentation. And there's a couple on the disc. There's a couple neat little extended basic programs he has that you can use it with. So that's the full card. If you don't want the full card, he sent me the do-it-yourself card, which is $25. As is, you can download the software and the disc from his website, which is listed back there on my desk, and you can build it yourself. You'll require the parts, and you'll also need a Commodore 64 or 128 with a working SID chip to gut so that you can plug it in. But
so it's more good cause than
yes,
Commodore.
Yes. So yeah, it gets one more Commodore off the street. So. But anyway, if you like to do it yourself, it's a great way. It's also a cool souvenir if you want to put it like on a velveteen bag with a box, you know, and hang it up with all the other unfinished cards we have. So anyway, $25 for this one. It's normally $35 on his website with the disc and the docks. You can download them free and save $10 here. Okay, let me kind of go through and do this. It's an editor assembler program. It loads from the disc, just option 5, disc 1, SID play 1. I think it's a 3-part file. Fairly intuitive in terms of the menu. Comes up with the screen. If you want to press F7 at the beginning, it gives you a list of options and stuff. Really pretty straightforward stuff. Select all titles, change the device path, deselect all titles, play, quit. Mark put a couple of little sprites in there for movement to create what he called a 50-pound iPod, if you want to do that. So a few other features, but that's just if you want to come up. Device path names, fairly simple. There are, through the courtesy of Mark and Mike Brantersi, like 8,000 downloadable music files broken up into discs, into B99 discs, that you can download from a link on Mark's site, and you've got 8,000 high quality. Now, I'm not an expert on a SID. You might be. But I know that the one thing that sets the SID or the sound interface chip apart from the TI's chip is the richness in which the music you can create. And when I was first testing the card, Mark said, if you want to hear the music, you really should plug it into a stereo and not listen to it from a TI. I haven't done that yet, but the point being that these are much richer, much more developed sound files than what we've had on the TI. So, but 8,000 of them, these guys made available, and download them, get them to the disk however you wish, and plug them in. Lights went off, now I can't see the little slot. Okay, type in your disk name. In this case, it supports all the drives. It also supports a SCSI drive and an HFDC. It also supports the ID, but Mark told me that there was some ghosting on his. I don't have an IDE card, so when I wrote the front end, I couldn't test the IDE card. So he sent me a card. We're going to test that. But it does work fine on us with SCSI, supports directories, which I don't have here. Works just like DM2K in that sense. You can go down a directory, go down another directory, select files from it, play them from there, move up the directories, change the device, and it does support the disk dot format, which is disk dot file one, music one, and so forth. So anyway, in this case, we just have that, and this enter key is a little tough. It worked perfect this time. Also supports RAM disks substantially faster. On RAM disks, these are really quick. Now, of the 8,000 files, there are only a few that can't be fully loaded, and that's simply because they're so big that he ran out of memory on it. But those are exceptions. There we go. So you get your directory. I won't advertise this other than tell you it comes up as a 2-column directory. You can press the 1, 2 to 3 to make it 3 columns if you want to. It comes up in 2. Fully supports like funnel web, you know, the end and the top, and so you can sort if you want to. That means that you want to, what is it? Repeat type thing. You can turn it on and off. That's repeat. The other one wasn't repeat, it was shuffle. So kind of like an iPod. If you take this list and you select all of them by selecting A and you play it, it will shuffle them for you and play them in random order. So that's kind of the same thing. Okay, so once you select them, you deselect them if you want to. I don't remember myself. So let's say to select them, we're going to go through. And I wrote this and forgot myself how it works in some ways. So pick a couple songs here. You don't have to pick all of them together. You can pick a couple or you can pick one. A selects all of them, D selects all of them, space bar selects what you want. When you're ready to play, you just hit play. It'll load the first file and start playing it. And this is kind of it. If you're done with this one or you want to stop or hold it, you can press B. But like I said, this keyboard's been a little unresponsive. To skip this song, if you're done with it, man, I'm not getting anything on this keyboard. Well, we're going to listen to it because it's not letting us bail. Suppose we should practice this. So anyway, it does work. It's just this keyboard not being responsive. Just try holding it down there.
Alpha lock or anything?
No.
Put the alpha lock down.
No, it would. Oh, thank you. I'll have to fix that because it should handle both. It should be case insensitive. Okay?
Yeah.
Programmer error. Thank you. Okay, so that's kind of really what it is. If you want just one song, you can play just the one song. If you want to skip it, you can skip it. If you want to repeat it over and over, you can do the repeat, the play. Got to be highlighted. It's highlighted when it's selected. And if you skip it, it's just going to, as long as you have the repeat on, it's going to keep doing it. That's really it. There's not much more other than that. F7 brings up the help menu if you want the help menu. Notice that in the case here, because the files, the way the file names are named on this is they're all preceded by a $sign. And then the name of the file, which means that the $sign here, we're not showing the $sign because they all have a $sign. But that then restricts the display to 10 characters. So to show you a directory, what I've done is basically have put brackets around it so you can say that's a directory, that's a directory. Whereas in MS-DOS, it will say the word directory, and you know that. But without the $signs and stuff, you wouldn't know the directories with a regular file without it. So that's the game plan. Like Mark said, hook it up. A couple of things. We had problems before this trying to get it to work with the speech synthesizer. It may be this speech synthesizer. Before I left home, I did test it with both the Rave and the Triple Tech, so I know it works with those two devices, but I didn't test it before I left with the speech synthesizer, so this may be a problem, but just be aware of that. Other than that, it's bulletproof. It's great. great card.
It's just the audio doesn't seem to pass through, right?
Yeah, it seems like the audio.
If that is the case, it'd be an easy fix to just run a jumper across.
Well, and that's what I talked to Mark about. We need probably, if that's the case, to verify. I'll verify when I go home and take a look at it. But it does work, again, when the speech is in the box, so it's not an issue with the speech synthesizer per se, but like you said, it's probably something that's not being passed through. So.
Is the card on a certain address and can it interfere?
You know, actually, I don't know. Mark tried to explain to me, basically, it's, you know, the light is always on unless the card's being used. Do you know?
It's actually memory mapped.
Basically, the card switches in anytime a CRU address below 1,000 is accessed. So, for instance, if the keyboard is scanned, because that tells him that no other card is currently mapped in.
Okay.
So if you map any other card in, it automatically deselects the SID. The nice thing about that is it means you can use it for extended basic with call loads. You don't need any drivers.
And that's one of the things, too, that's nice about it, because you can integrate the sound in with games and stuff, I guess, if you want to take advantage of it in regard, other than just listening to it. Richard Bell mentioned he had 3 of them on machines throughout the house, so he could listen to music as he goes. My TI's in the basement, so it wouldn't do me much good. But, plus, I run a very long speaker. But that's pretty much all I know about the card for mine. Like I said, we've got to make, obviously, if the alpha lock has to be on, then I thought I got that program, but I must have screwed up. So.
Ernie, question. It's using the sound chip in the TI, right?
No, it uses a sound chip from a Commodore 64 or 128.
Oh, I see. So
It actually,
That's on the card.
it's
on there.
separate.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
that's me. So that's why I said when according to Mark, if you were actually to plug this into stereo or something, you get a much richer sound than what the TI is capable of producing. You know, because this does the whole thing with timbre and envelopes and all sorts of stuff, which I don't understand.
You've used the MIDI system, right?
Mm-hmm.
MIDI music. How would you say, in your opinion, how does this compare with MIDI music?
Well, I mean, the MIDI is an external device.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't played both of them together. I mean, you know, most of the MIDI files, they've all done basically piano or something, you know, where this is, you know,
Well,
it's on sound.
MIDI keyboard depends kind of on your keyboard, but I'm just wondering about, say, timbre and richness of sound and things like that. If you have an opinion.
No, I haven't compared
The
the
SID
two.
chip is just a couple of years after the TI sound chip, so it adds envelope shaping, which is, for instance, the sound of a bell. It can generate in hardware. But it doesn't do actual instruments in the same way that a MIDI keyboard will. So a MIDI keyboard is still going to sound more realistic, assuming you've got a proper patch set loaded. The Commodore 64 was a huge hit among musicians, though, because the sound chip has a very unique sound to it. It's got feedbacks that can distort the audio and give you interesting buzzes and stuff. And a lot of these songs will take advantage of things like that. If you just listen to a few of the songs, you get a feel for how it sounds different than the square waves that we have in our machine.
Yeah.
How do you access SID from Extended Basic?
I've never played with it, but there are some programs on his disc,
Oh, okay.
a demo program and stuff where
It's just,
and I don't, you know,
it's just a memory map device, isn't it? You just poke it.
What happens is it
Poke it, okay.
Yeah, it maps into the DSR space, so you just load. And it's got like 30 registers or something like that you get.
I mean, Mark has in the documentation, he has some programming information and some other information.
The other nice thing too is if you find a Commodore 64 basic program, you can port it very trivially.
And Ernie, can you tell us how we can get it again, what the prices are?
Well, I mean, today, only you can get it from me. I have one more of the built boards here. Mark sent me 2. Barry already has claims on one. I have one more of the built boards, $90. I don't have any change, so $90. There's a bank down the street. Or you can buy the unbuilt one, $25, without the discs, without the documentation. Both are free downloadable from Mark's site, which I have listed, and you can get $10 off of it for not taking the disc and the documentation. So it's $25. Then you can build it yourself. Now Mark has them available on his website, but you have to order them from him. Because I assume he builds them as he needs to, and he only had a couple built up for this one.
Okay, and Mark's website is?
I I couldn't begin to tell you. Right, see the DSAPSC,
Yeah.
Destroyer and Sons, whatever, Atomic Powered Software, I think. That's the website, www.dsapsc.com. It stands for like Destroyers and Son Atomic Powered Software Company.
Al,
Okay.
it's on the jury form.
Down in the jury forum, it'll be one of the sites apparently judged this evening for the Rob Templeman Plot Award. And more about that in a little while. But
I've got one of these boards back in the UK, and they're very nicely built, and they sound great. Yeah, they're nice.
Yeah. Certainly is. It's
So-
like James Bond.
I'm sorry, what?
It's on the list.
No, James Bond.
James Bond, which one is this? Kind of cool file. And if it's the only file you could have pressed skip, then it would have went back and done it also. So anyway, any questions? If you have any, I'll try to help you. Mark will be glad to. He's unfortunately couldn't make it here today because of some other child-related expenses. I think he listed them, so, or he would have been here. But he says it's a great little card and support the guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
thank you, man.